Good evening, everybody. I guess we'll start the session. Thank you all for registering and attending this 7-day online faculty development program on outcome-based education, OBE. This is being organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell IQAC of Nirmala College, Muvattupuzha, in association with the Kerala State Higher Education Council, the KSHEC. We would like to welcome today's resource person, Dr. Mendus 𝐬𝐤, who is an MSc, MPhil, PhD, MIOD. And we would also like to welcome all the FTP resource persons, managers, directors, principals, vice principals, representatives from management, HODs, IQAC coordinators, and all faculty members. About this FTP, this is a 7-day program, and this is actually our 6th day of the FTP, and we will have one more day tomorrow, and the timing for the sessions were from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. In case if any of you have missed or not been able to attend the live sessions, the recordings are available to you or in the LMS for the paid participants. All the participants who have paid the processing fee will receive the LMS access, the video recordings for all the days, and also a participation certificate. If any of you are yet to make the payment, please make the payment of rupees 300 to Nirmala College. The account details I will shortly put in the chat. In the LMS, there are hands-on activities that are to be completed along with the FTP. My name is 𝐂𝐚𝐥𝐿. I work as a Global Relations Manager for IPSR Solutions Limited, and I will be the event moderator. Now, moving on to today's session. Today's topic will be calculation of attainment in OBE and analytics report for accreditation. This topic will be delivered by Dr. Mendus 𝐬𝐤, who is an MSc, MPhil, PhD, MIOD. A small introduction about Dr. Mendus 𝐬𝐤. Dr. Mendus 𝐬𝐤 is the CEO of IPSR Solutions Limited and Valid Technologies, UK, US, and Canada, and he's an academician and entrepreneur with 35 plus years of experience. He's also the professor and director of MCA program at Marian College, Kuttikkanam Autonomous, and the former director of School of Applicable Mathematics, MG University. He has acted as chairman and member of many academic bodies constituted by the university. He is also a member of academic and administrative bodies of other autonomous colleges, engineering colleges, and business schools. He has received the Best Entrepreneur Award from Chief Minister of Kerala and IG Education Excellence Award from the Defence Minister of India. IPSR Solutions Limited, under the leadership of Dr. Mendus 𝐬𝐤, has bagged Samman Patra Award from Ministry of Finance, Government of India, and Best Education Technology Solutions Provided 2019 award from the Integrated Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The company has also received 37 awards, both national and international, for the Best Training Partner from Red Hat, the leaders in open source. He is a PhD in Open Operations Research and has to his credit a number of national and international publications. He is a research guide of Lincoln University, Malaysia. He has served as a resource person for many national and international seminars and conferences in mathematics, management, and computer applications. He has organized, conducted, and served as resource person for a number of faculty development programs, including UGC-sponsored refresher courses. His areas of interest include national education policy, outcome-based education, accreditation, etc. Over to you, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Good evening and welcome to this 6th day of FTP. Actually, for the last 5 years, we are discussing about the concepts of outcome-based education, then the Bloom's taxonomy, outcomes, how to design outcomes, then finally the mapping of outcomes. And yesterday we had a section by Dr. Suresh Nambudiri that is regarding the importance of outcome-based education, especially for improving the employability of students. So today we will discuss about how to calculate the attainment level of outcomes. And for that purpose, one should be thorough with the basic concepts, then the mapping and everything. And again, the Bloom's taxonomy concepts, because, when we design proper teaching, learning, and assessments, then only we can implement outcome-based education in a proper way. For that namesake of, calculating attainment level, many institutions, with some softwares or some tools, they used to calculate the attainment level. But the reality is far away. Like, we cannot say that these are accurate calculations. So it's very important that one should be thorough with the concepts, and the proper or the success of the implementation of OB depends on how you design the teaching, learning, and assessment strategies. So if you can have innovative teaching, learning, and assessment strategies, definitely your OB implementation will be a success. So before starting the session, we'll have a small interaction. This will help us again during the progress of the sessions. So we'll have a Mentimeter slide. You can just, I'll share the link of this slide so that you can post your responses there. I posted a link in the chat box. Just go through the link and you can give your responses there. Otherwise, you can go to menti.com. It's given the top of the screen. You can go to menti.com and you'll be asked with a code. So we can type that code. It's given on the top of the screen, 25802471. Or the third option is we have the QR code. You can scan it and you can give your responses. You will get the link there. So this is a question. What are the strong pillars of a teacher? So, what are the strong pillars of a teacher? So please don't type your name. As a teacher, what are our strong pillars? What are the best qualities of a good teacher? So you can go through that link, which is already posted there in the chat box. Or you can go to menti.com and you can type that code. And third option is you can scan this QR. It's also there in the screen. Then you can give your responses there. Don't type it in the chat box. You please go. Emotional intelligence. Research. Confidential or confidence. Passionate. You can go to that link, which is already posted there in the chat box. You can give your responses there. Or you can go to menti.com and you can use the code, which is given at the top of the screen. And you can give your responses there. Okay. So thank you very much. We have got a lot of responses. Yeah. So these are the strong pillars of a teacher. Now, I'm going to divide all these components into three broad categories. One is knowledge, then skill, then attitude, or we can say attitude, skill, and knowledge. We call it ask. Okay. Now, you can do it as an exercise later. We can divide this into 3 categories. One is attitude, then skill, then knowledge. Almost all these words which you have posted there, we can divide it into these 3 components. Okay. So we will use this during our presentation. Thank you for your response. Then when we go ahead, like you can use the same link. I will post it again in the chat box. Those who came late, like. No, another question. So which activities or assessments is more suitable for outcome-based education? So you can go to the link again, which is there in the chat box, or you can go to menti.com. Those who are on the YouTube, you can just go to that menti.com and you can use the code. The code is given above the top of the screen. And third option is you can scan this QR code and you will get the link so that you can type there. Which activities or assessments is more suitable for implementing outcome-based education? That is a question. When we implement OB, we have many activities or assessments going on in the institution. Maybe we have examinations, assignment, or seminar, or project work, case study, or internship, like that. So I have listed 6 of them. Maybe you have more. Okay. Which of these activities will have more contribution towards outcome-based education? Or when we calculate attainment level or something like that. We have 30 seconds more. Okay. This is the order coming, like project work on top, then case study, then internship, assignment, examinations, and seminar. Okay. So again, this is very important now while we design various activities or assessments for OB implementation. Now you can check these activities one by one. When the student is doing a project work, definitely this project work can be mapped to different, different attributes. Like it will give more contribution to the POs, like team skills are there, or for a project work, there may be presentations, so communication skills. So many things, many graduate attributes will improve when a student is doing a project work. And he may be doing a real-time work in that case also. That will improve his skills. Coming to case study, again, it is okay, but when you think about internship, you consider internship and case study comparison, again, you can see during internship, the student will be doing a real-time project. Again, a lot of interactions will be happening there. Maybe he's working in the industry. Okay. Then assignment, again, we can give an assignment maybe it is mapped to a particular CEOs, one CEO or more than one CEO. And for assignment also, we can give some creative type of assignments. I will have one more slide, then you can understand the importance of this assignment seminar and all. Again, coming to seminar, definitely the student is having a presentation, presenting the seminar, the topic, so that communication skill will improve. Then again, for preparing the seminar, he has to refer many topics, and he has to go to the internet or for a content creation. Lot of activities are there. Then coming to the examinations, you can see you may have internal examinations or external examinations. Maybe 3-hour duration is for the semester end examination. So how many graduate attributes can be evaluated during that 3-hour examination? Okay, you can compare these activities. Now, I have one more. So this will help us definitely when we progress through the sections. So, I will share another link. You can also go to that link. So that link, or you can type menti.com and you can use that code. This is a different code. This is a different slide. The code is given the top of that screen. Or you can go to this, you can scan this QR code. Again, you have to enter that code, same code. Now, this is the question. Frame questions on GST from K1 to K6 levels. See, for example, what is GST? That is a K1 level. So if you frame questions on the Bloom's taxonomy level 1, you can put what is GST there and a hyphen denoting it's a remember level question, a hyphen K1, like that. So you can type questions in different levels. So what is, you can frame a question on GST. GST is known to everybody. That's what that's why I just put GST here. You can frame a question on analyze level or evaluate level or even create level. Okay. Frame questions on GST from K1 to K6 levels. So we are getting answers like, you put that knowledge level also. What is GST? Of course, everybody knows it's a K1 level. And how to calculate GST, that is a K3 apply level. Okay. Explain the features of GST. You please put the knowledge level also. What is the knowledge level? How do you calculate the GST on a product with a given price? Can you identify, put the knowledge levels also, please, when you frame questions. What is GST K12? Explain the different types of GST K2. Okay. Explain the concept of GST K3. Define GST. Explain the concept of GST is not K3, it's only K2. K3, like K4 and this. Okay, K6 level. Design a comprehensive plan for implementing GST in a hypothetical country, considering the potential challenges and strategies for smooth implementation. This is good. Say, create level question. Categorize the taxes that GST replaces. K4, analyze level. Okay. So you can have a comparison with the GST and the VAT. The former system is VAT. So if the student analyzes, compare it, then definitely that's analyze level question. K5, assess the effectiveness of the GST implementation in your country. What improvements, if any, would you suggest? Very good. That is a K5 level question, evaluation. Okay. Use for GST. What criteria would you use to assess GST? Not clear. Compare and contrast the advantages and reasons of implementing GST in a country's tax system. Evaluate the impact of GST on different sectors of the country. K11. Okay. K4. Supposed to be subsumed under GST. K4. We have got around 60 answers. Very good. Okay. Now, okay. Thank you for your contributions. A lot of questions are coming. Compare the economy before and after the implementation of GST. Okay, that's also good. Good question. Critically evaluate the impact of GST in any industry of your choice. That's again a K5 level question. Okay. Now, I think we will stop. Okay. Now, we have one more slide. You can use the same link. Already I have shared that link. You can use the same link, or you can go to menti.com and you can use the code 46052922. Or the third option is you can go to that, you can scan that QR code and you can type that same code there. So this is a statement, you know. We can frame questions on create level for semester exam. Your opinion. It's a statement, and what is your opinion? Yes. We are getting some answers like this. Yes, possible depending on the course. No, it's good as students, real understanding will be reflected. We can ask from chemistry subjects, okay. For the last year students, sometimes, okay. Question should have real-time characteristics, which is not possible in an end semester examination, so it is most impossible. It is required to know the creativity of students. Of course, it will help students to formulate or suggest policy measures to government. Good to have a create level semester exams. Creating questions for semester exams requires care consideration to ensure they effectively assess students on course material. Okay. It can push the students to think outside the box. Okay, so there are, of course, there are many advantages. But my question is it practical? You know, this is the question. We can frame questions on career levels Assumption and examinations, your opinion. Yeah. Is it practical? That is my question. We'll have 10 seconds more. Create level questions cannot be completed in 3 hours, so we cannot frame for assumption and exam. The exam should compile skill development on subject-based and also to prepare for upcoming examinations. Okay. Yes. So we have different opinions. No. Maybe depending on the subject, we can have create level questions, because we have only 3 hours maximum for a semester exam. With the GST example, suppose we are framing questions like what is GST? Of course, it is a KN1 level. Then explain GST with an example. We can say it is a K2 level question. Then coming to the K3 level, suppose if you ask the student to compute or ask to develop a GST return of a particular business firm or something like that, it can be an application level question. Then coming to the analyze level, we can analyze GST with the previous tax system like VAT, or we can compare GST with the VAT system in the UK, something like that. Then evaluate it, which is better. It is all possible. But to create a new system, suppose if you ask the student to create a new system out of the analysis or how you evaluate the current GST system, maybe there are some loopholes, or after evaluation, you find that you should improve the system so that you can create or develop a new GST system for the country. So if you ask this question in the 3-hour examination, definitely there is time limitation. The student may not be able to write the correct answer for that, because in 3 hours, it may be difficult for the student to develop a new system. So even for a topic like GST, it is almost impossible. If you want to ask a create level question, maybe for many other subjects, it will be like that. Again, how you can evaluate a create level question, that also depends. Suppose if you ask a question like design a brochure, it is a communicative course, communicative English or something like that. There may be questions like design a brochure or something like that. So you have to evaluate the creativity of the student. Okay, so in that case, it may be difficult for having create level questions for the semester examinations. But at the same time, if you can have a project work or you have assignments or seminars, you can include many of such assessments, such type of questions or create level questions in your continuous assessment activities. That is what I mentioned earlier, like for implementing OB in a proper way, you need to focus on the innovative learning, teaching, learning, and assessment strategies. That is very important. So once again, one more thing, like if you are sharing a question bank, if you have a question bank in the institution, and if you are sharing the question bank to the students, if you have create level questions in the question bank, and if you are sharing it, and it will not be a create level questions in future, because once it is shared to the students, it will not be a create level question. The key is to design questions that encourage critical thinking, problem solving, and application of knowledge rather than playing solely on rote memorizing. Definitely, we need to create level assessments, but the only problem is now during the semester and examination, it may not be possible for all subjects. That is what can we ask the student to develop a small GST slab for MSMEs by giving a hypothetical situation? Okay, it is possible. Again, create level, we can have different levels, the create level question also. Yeah. So anyway, good suggestions. So these are some discussion points, maybe you have to discuss in your institution when you implement, outcome-based education like that. Then we will start with today's section, and just 1 minute, I will share the screen. Sorry. So, okay, hope you can view my screen, my slides. Yeah.
Yes, screen is visible.
Then we will have the attainment calculation. So we will evaluate the outcomes and all. This is the agenda for today's section, and of course tomorrow also we'll have the section will be continued. So attainment calculation in OB, that is what we will deal today. Maybe a lot of calculations are there, but anyway, every faculty should be aware of the process when we go for accreditation and all. The peer team members, they will ask each and every faculty how you have calculated the attainment. So you should understand the process of calculation. But anyway, it is very difficult to calculate manually. You may have some tools in your institution. Otherwise, I will also explain with a tool later, because that will be more communicating, like we can have analytical reports on many things. Then we have the analytical reports for accreditation. I will just explain with a tool, and under some best practices we will discuss in between. Then LMS and task, and if there is any question and answer section, we can have that also. And feedback we will collect tomorrow. And some initial slides, already you have gone through these concepts, so I'm not taking much time for these particular slides. These are the buzzwords of OB: know and are able to do. That means every student should know and they are able to do whatever they study, okay, whatever they learn. That is very important in OB. This is the difference between a traditional system and an OB system. The traditional system, it is teacher-centric, whereas in OB, it is student-centric. And you can see the new education policy that also is student-centric. Okay. Then in a traditional system, we have the importance on teaching and content, whereas in OB, importance on learning and process. And the traditional system, knowledge-driven and rote learning. But in the OB system, learning ensures knowledge and performance. So this is the difference between a traditional system and the OB system. So in the traditional system, at faculty like us, we will think, what should I teach today before going to the class? Okay, so we will think like that. And in the OB, the new system, a faculty should think like this: what should my students be able to do with what they learn? So what should my students be able to do with what they learn? These are the outcomes. So what should be the outcome of the today's section? These are some quotes. I think you might have gone through this. Good education happens when there is a teacher who explains well and a student who understands well. Okay, it's very clear. But great education happens when there is a student who explains well and a teacher who understands well. Okay, it's only a quote. And one more slide. I think you might have seen it many places. Maybe if you have gone for a B.Ed course or a med course, you might have seen all these things. Learning happens like this, Only 5% of learning happens through lecturing. Okay. 10% through reading and 20% through audiovisual things. Then 30% through demonstration. You demonstrate something, definitely 30% of the learning will happen. 50% of the learning happens through discussions. 75% of the learning happens through practical things like practice doing. that is what when the student learns through internship or project work or something like that. And 90% learning happens when we teach others. As faculty members, we know, after becoming a faculty, we have learned a lot of things. Okay, so when we teach others, we will learn more. In my institution, when I'm teaching my students, usually I give some topics for peer learning, and that is very effective. I will select some students, maybe 8 or 10 students, and will form groups in the class. And each student, each selected student should be a mentor for each of these groups, so that a lot of learning will happen. And after that, I will conduct a Viva OC, so that everybody will be learning all these concepts. So this is again, this should be in your mind when you again design teaching, learning, and assessment strategies. Already we have gone through these 3 pillars of a professional or 3 pillars of a teacher. And I already mentioned that we can divide all these, your responses, into 3 broad categories: attitude, skill, or knowledge, like that. And these are the 12 attributes for UG engineering program developed by AICTE for NB accreditation process. So we can broadly divide these 12 attributes into these 4 categories. The last one is the habit, lifelong learning. Okay. And again, these words, knowledge, attitude, and skill, you might have heard it during the group taxonomy sessions. Okay, so these are interrelated. And this should be the outcome of today's this section. Like every faculty member who is attending this session should be able to calculate the attainment level of POs, PSOs, and COs. Or for each student, we can give a score sheet like this. And this is a score sheet based on the graduate attributes out of 3. The student maybe for discipline, this is only a sample score sheet. For disciplinary knowledge, 2.3 out of 3. So for every student in the institution, we can give a score sheet like this. We can say that we have implemented OB. But again, I think Dr. Sunil Job has explained, like if there is some mismatch in the score sheet compared to the skill of the student, definitely it will be a failure. So we should be careful, again, in designing what I mentioned earlier, teaching, learning, assessment strategies. So I will give you an example, and I will explain how to calculate the attainment level. This is the POs of my college. We have 9 POs there, starting from domain knowledge, and the last one is self-directed and lifelong learning. So we have 9 POs. And I have taken the PSOs of a BCA program. So I have taken this from the internet. Maybe some errors will be there. And don't worry about it. It's only an indicative. So you use these PSOs for the calculation purpose only. Again, I have taken these COs from the internet. We have 5 course outcomes, and I'm considering 1 course, Introduction to Computers. That is one of the courses of a BCA program. This is for explaining the attainment calculation. So we have 5 course outcomes. We have 5 PSOs, 9 POs, and 5 course outcomes for this particular course. And there are some activities for the semester 1, like we have outreach, we have industrial visit. So we can call it activity outcomes. Okay, activities, and the corresponding outcomes are activity outcomes. Then when we calculate the attainment level, there should be a predefined mapping scale. We can have a mapping scale. So the institution can have a mapping scale. It should be a predefined one. Direct and indirect assessment methods may be used in preset proportions. We can decide the proportion of what is the weightage we have to give to indirect assessment and the direct assessment. The direct assessment means the assessments handled by the faculty members, the college, the institution. Indirect assessment means it can be a survey conducted among the students, or if a particular third-party assessment, like if you are sending the students for an industrial visit, and if you ask the industry people there to evaluate your students based on some criteria, that is again a third-party assessment. It comes under the indirect assessment. Then components of assessments may be like semester examinations, regular internal examination. These are some few components. Then we can have another innovative continuous assessments, activities you can have, events or personality assessments. Many things like possibilities of components of evaluation are numerous, like anything from a class test to a MOOC learning or third-party online test could be used. Option to use innovative learning experiences such as LMS. You can use LMS and you can have assessments there. Question banks you can use. Real-time classroom activities. Aptitude assessment portal, or you can have quizzes and surveys. Gamification elements. Many things like this. So many activities you can include. Questions in semester examination get mapped to different CEOs. So every question in the semester test, especially for autonomous colleges and universities, you can map each and every question in the semester examination to different CEOs. Then you can have other components. May wholly or at rubric level get mapped to different outcomes. Course outcomes, CEOs are in turn mapped to POs and PSOs. General activities may be mapped to POs and PSOs again. CEO attainments can be tabulated at the end of each semester based on student scores. So we can calculate the CEO attainment at the end of each semester. And at the end of the program tenure, PO and PSO attainments can be calculated. Then this is an example of a mapping scale. Every institution can have their own mapping scale. It's only an example. Now here I am following a 4-point scale. So 0, 1, 2, 3. For 0 weightage, attainment is nil. Suppose the student is scoring 0% mark or grade, then attainment will be nil. In that case, weightage will be 0. From 1 to 50%. So low level attainment, weightage is 1. 51 to 70%, moderate level attainment, and the weightage is 2. From 71 to 100%, significant level. So the weightage is 3. So I'm using this scale for this particular example. Then the CO-PO mapping. Already you have gone through that mapping process last day. So these 5 course outcomes, we can map to 9 POs. Already I have mentioned we have 9 POs. Here, this is the table from CO1. Suppose CO1 is mapped to PO1 and PO2 on PO9, and with a different mapping strengths. So similarly, each and every course outcome you can map to different POs. Okay. And you will get a sample program matrix for OB like this. That means if suppose we are considering a UG program, there may be 6 semesters, and each semester if you have 5 or 6, suppose you have 5 course outcomes each for each semester, then in 6 semesters you will have 6 into 5, 30 courses, and for each course if you have 5 course outcomes, then 30 into 5, 150 course outcomes will be there. Okay. So there will be 150 course outcomes, and if there are some other activity outcomes, that also will be there. That means, for an example, I'm considering a UG program where each semester consists of 5 courses, average 5 courses, and each course will have 5 outcomes, course outcomes. So 5 into, so total will be 6 into 5, 30. 30 courses will be there in total, and for each course, 5 course outcomes each, 30 into 5, 150 course outcomes. So the first column means is 150 course outcomes. And you can see each column representing each POs and then PSOs. So here there are 4 PSOs and 9 POs listed. And you have a sample program matrix like this. Then one more thing, this mapping strength is already covered in the last sections, how you will map all this, the strength of mapping and everything. That depends on the course outcomes and the POs. Okay, based on the relationship between the COs and POs, you can have the mapping strength. Okay. Now, as a faculty, as a course in charge, the first activity is you should have a CO-linked assessment plan like this. This is again an example. Suppose we have different activities, assessments like seminar, assignment, video presentation, then group activity like that. Then we have 3 internal examinations, exam 1, exam 2, exam 3. Then attendance is also considered. Okay. Then final exam. Now, in this example, we have 40% mark for continuous assessment and 60% mark for final exam. So I'm taking this example where in a particular institution, 40% for continuous assessment and 60% for final exam. Then for seminar, suppose the mark is 4 out of 40. 40 is the total for continuous assessment. Suppose 4 marks for seminar, and this seminar is mapped to CO1. That means the topic for this seminar will be mapping to course outcome number 1. And it is possible that you can map a seminar or any activity with more than 1 outcomes. That is possible. I'm just, for example, I'm taking only a simple assessment plan. Okay. Then for assignment, again, suppose we have 3.5 marks. It is mapped to CO2. Video presentation, 4 marks, mapped to CO3. Group activity, 3.5 marks. It is mapped to CO2 and CO4. Okay. Then for exam 1, so you'll have questions from maybe from first 2 modules. If the module-wise course outcomes are designed, then for exam 1, suppose it is mapped to CO1 and CO2. This is only an example. It's not like that in every case. Maybe exam 1 may be mapped to only CO1 in some cases. Similarly, exam 2 can be mapped to more than 1 COs. It's also possible. Here, exam 2 mapped to CO3 and exam 3 mapped to CO4 and CO5. Attendance, it's an activity outcome. Then for final exam, 60% marks. Definitely, you can see for final exam, you'll have questions from all the modules, the entire syllabus. So, final exam is mapped to all the 5 COs. Okay. So, this is only an example of a CO-linked assessment plan. Shall I proceed? If you have any doubts, you can put it in the chat box. I'll explain once more. How can assess the video presentation in any other activities in assessment? Video presentation we can assess, no? It's not a problem. Everything is measured on examinations, so how can we reach this goal? Okay. I mean, how can we achieve these attainments? Typographical error. No, these are not attainments. I have given the mapping strengths. To involve the outcomes, which is an ever-changing field as mentioned by creative level. Attainments. Okay. So I think we need more discussions after the session. Yeah. In a 5-module syllabus, is it compulsory to have only one outcome in a module? No. You can have more number of outcomes. See, for example, the easiest way is, for each module, if you can have one outcome, it will be easy for you to calculate the attainment. And otherwise, also, it's not a problem. For example, if you have 5 modules or 6 modules, you can combine 2 modules, you can have one course outcome from there. And from one module itself, we can have 2 course outcomes. That also is possible. So that won't be a problem. Okay, I hope we can proceed. So this is one example of a CO-linked assessment plan. Okay. Now, coming to the attainment calculation. Again, I'm giving you an example only. The first column, the activities already we have explained. The second column, the course outcomes, that also we have explained the previous slide. That means each of these activities is mapped to different COs. Then suppose we conduct the assessment. Suppose the student get 40% mark. This is only for a particular student X. 40% mark for seminar. Okay, score is 40%. So that his attainment is 1, because from 1 to 50%, the mapping strength is 1. Sorry. The weightage is 1. No? Okay. Then for assignment, 85% mark. Here the attainment is 3, because from 71 to 100, the weightage is 3. Similarly, for video presentation, 70%, that means 2. From 51 to 70%, the weightage is 2. So already we have redefined the mapping scale, everything. And you can see for final exam, we have not considered here. It's only for the continuous assessment. We have considered only for the continuous assessment. Okay. Now, again, I will tell you, if you are using a tool or a software, the first 3 columns are enough. That means you have to just input the marks, the score of the student, the attainment and everything will come there, automatically come there. Okay. Now, how to calculate the attainment? Now, consider all those activities or assessments which are mapped to CO1 in the continuous assessment activities. You can see seminar is mapped to CO1. Then we have exam 1 mapped to CO1. Final exam is there, but we are not considering the substantive exam in this case. We are considering only the continuous assessment. Later, we will calculate for the final exam. So we have in 2 places for seminar and exam 1, CO1 is there. CO1 appears in 2 places. Okay. And the attainment is 1 for seminar, and exam 1, it is 2. So we take the simple average, 1 plus 2 by 2, it's 1.5. Here also, I'm not considering the weighted average. Only for understanding the process of attainment calculation, I have given this example. I hope Dr. Sunil Job has mentioned about the weighted average and all. Definitely, we need weighted average when we actually calculate attainment level. Okay, so I'm taking a simple average here, 1 plus 2 divided by 2, 1.5. Similarly, you can see CO2 appears in 3 places, 1 for assignment, then another for group activity, and again for exam 1, 3 places. And the first one, assignment, the attainment is 3. Group activity, attainment is 3. H1, attainment is 2. So 3 plus 3 plus 2. 3 plus 3 plus 2 divided by 3. Again, taking simple average, 2.6. Okay, what is this? This is CO1, attainment of this particular student for the continuous assessment, 1.5. So we are considering all those activities or assessments which are mapped to CO1. Then we will calculate the attainment of CO1. The same way, we consider all those assessments or activities which are mapped towards CO2. Then we will calculate the attainment for CO2. The similar way for CO3 and CO4, again CO5. Okay, we can calculate like this. We'll take the simple average. We can calculate like this. Okay. Then coming to the final exam, semester end exam, how we will calculate it? Here, for example, if you have 25 questions in the question paper of the semester end exam, suppose there are 25 questions. Now, I am considering only CO1 here for calculation. Then I will calculate CO2. So, first of all, I will identify those questions which are mapped to CO1. I will show you a tool later, a question bank or something like that. Then I will show you how we can map the questions to the different CO and taxonomy levels. Then you will understand it in a better way. But this is very simple. I have question number 1, question number 16, question number 18, question number 23, and question number 25. There are 5 questions in the question paper which are mapped to CO1. Similarly, there may be some few questions which are mapped to CO2, then some other questions which are mapped to CO3, like that. So in the entire question paper, some questions may be mapped to CO1, some other questions may be CO2, like that. Okay. And even there is a possibility that one question can be mapped to multiple COs. That also is possible. But here, again, I will tell you, I'm taking a simple example. Now, question number 1. The mark or the score for this particular student is 1 out of 1. It's a 1 mark question, so he got 100% mark. So the question level attainment is 3. That means you can see the weightage, 71 to 100%, weightage is 3. Okay. Then question number 16, 75%. Again, question level attainment is 3. Question number 18, 50%. 50% means it comes under the 0 to 50%, no? Weightage 1 to 50%. So it's 1, weightage is 1. Similarly, for 60%, it is 2. 40%, it is 1. This is the question level attainment. Okay, this is the question level attainment. Then what is this weightage given here? Here I am considering a weightage also, a weighted average. See, this particular question, question number 1, is marked to CO1 with a weightage 2. Or in other words, like this. This question may be of K2. Question number 1 may be of K2. Like it's an understand level question. And the CO1 may be of level K3, apply level. So if you are asking a question, the understand level, and this is mapped to a CO, which is the apply level, 1 level up, then the weightage should be 1 level less. It should not be 3, it should be 2. So already we have covered all this mapping and everything during the previous sessions. Okay. This one question. For the question number 25, score is 40. Then the question level attainment is, but in the percentage it shows 1, which one is correct? Percentage it shows 1, no? Is correct, sir? I couldn't understand your question. There's a question in the chat box. I will read the question. For the question number 25, score is 40. Yeah, 25 score is 40. Then the question level attainment is no. But in the presentation, it shows 1. Which one is correct? The presentation, it shows 1. 40% means it comes under the first category. See, 0 to 50%. Weightage is 1. That's why it is 1. Question level attainment is 0. If the score is 40, then the question level attainment is 0. No. Okay. I hope you understood. Okay. Similarly, for the second question, number 16th question, you can see question level attainment is 3 because the student scoring 75%. But the weightage is 3 given there because this question may be mapped to CO1 with the weightage 3. That means when we compare the question and the CO may be of K3 level. The question is also maybe of K3 level. It's only an example. So similarly, each and every question is already mapped to different COs with the different weights. It is already there. Again, I will tell you as a faculty member, you have to enter the score of the students. Okay, already the mapping is done. If you have already the mapping done in the question bank, this will be there. Okay, and the question level attainment will be automatically taken by the tool if you are using a tool. Okay, now how to calculate the CO1 attainment? You can see here we have taken the weightage, the weighted average. 3 into 2 plus 3 into 3 plus 1 into 1 plus 2 into 2 plus 1 into 3 divided by 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3. So the weighted average 2.09. So this is the attainment of CO1 for the semester end exam. So we have calculated for continuous assessment and for semester end exam. Okay. For CO1 here 1.5. This is for the continuous assessment. And for semester end exam, it is 2.09. Sorry. Okay. Now the ratio for calculation. How much percentage or how much weightage you want to give to the continuous assessment and how much weightage for final exam. Here in this example, I have given 80% weightage for continuous assessment and 20% only for final exam. What is the reason? We have already gone through some slides during the initial discussions, like which activities or assessments are good for OB implementation. See, for a final exam, in 3 hours, we cannot assess the student. Okay. So when we implement OB, we can give more weightage for continuous assessment because continuous assessment consists of assignment, seminar, project work, or internship. Many things are there. And definitely, we can give more weightage for continuous assessment. So here 80% for continuous assessment and 20% for final exam. So we have already calculated the value for CO1 for continuous assessment and final exam. It's 1.5 and 2.09 respectively. Then we will calculate the CO like this. Okay. So we got the CO1 attainment. This is the CO1 attainment. Now remember, we have calculated the attainment level of course outcome number 1 for one student, only for one student. So for the one course itself, we may have 5 course outcomes. So similarly, we have to calculate for 5 course outcomes. There are 5 course outcomes for this course. We have to calculate for 5 course outcomes, then for all students, then for all courses. Okay, that is the procedure. Now we can have indirect and direct assessments. I already mentioned. Indirect assessment means it's any continuous assessment means, direct assessment means the assessment conducted by the faculty members. These are direct assessments. Indirect assessment means a survey or, as I mentioned earlier, a third-party evaluation. So we can give weightage. Some institutions, they will give only 10% for indirect assessment. Here in this example, I have given 80% for direct assessment and 20% for indirect assessment. And just I have given some values here for CO1, CO2, CO3. So then calculate based on the weightage. We'll get 2.12, 1.52 like this. As I mentioned earlier, we'll get a table like this. For one student, we'll calculate the CO1, CO2 up to CO5. Okay. Similarly, for every student, we can calculate the course outcomes of the first course. Similarly, for all the courses. Then we can convert it into the percentage. Average CO attainment value into 100 by 3, because out of 3, we have calculated the attainment level. So we can have the percentage attainment. Other analytics like percentage of students attaining more than 60% level in the above case. So if you fix a target of 60%, how many students have achieved that target? Attainment level of 60%. Number of students above 1.8, because out of 3, 1.8 is the 60% target. Similar way, we can calculate the percentage of students attaining more than 80%. Okay. The same way, we can calculate POs and PSOs. This is an example. Suppose once if you complete the CO calculation, then you can have this table. Already we have the table. You can calculate the PO attainment. The mapping strength is already there. So it's very easy to calculate the POs. The first column, all the course outcomes listed there. Second column, the PO. The mapping is already there. And you can calculate the PO1. Like 2 into 2.12. 2 is the mapping strength. 2.12 is the attainment calculation of CO1. Similarly, 3 is the mapping strength. And 1.52 is the attainment calculation of CO2. Similarly, so 2 into 2.12 plus 3 into 1.52, that weighted average you can calculate. And at the end, last row, you will get the POs, value of POs. PO attainment levels could be based on attainment levels of direct assessment and indirect assessment. As already mentioned, for every attainment calculation, we should have both direct assessment and indirect assessment. 80% weightage or even 90% weightage you can give to direct assessment, only 10% for indirect assessments. Programs may have different weightages with appropriate justification. So for final calculation like this, PO1, suppose it is a domain knowledge, direct assessment, indirect assessment. If we are having the 80-20 proportion, the final value will be like this. Again, we have a table, a PO calculation table like this. The name of the student, the roll number. Then for each column, you can have the POs, PSOs for every student. You can calculate the average percentage like this. Percentage of students attaining more than 60%. Number of students above 1.8 into 100 by 60. Similarly for PO and PSO, both same. Average attainment level we can calculate. Then we can have alumni surveys. It's already mentioned, for program for redefining the POs and PEOs. program education objectives and all these things. Can have an alumni survey and all. Then some better practice for assessments like pen paper test, open book exams with questions mapped to different CEOs. So in order to implement OB in a proper way, you should have more activities or more assessments. Then only we'll get the value of the attainment level in a more accurate way. So you can have n number of activities or assessments. Even you can have objective type questions. You can conduct exams on Moodle or LMS like that. Again, you can have more courses. If the student is participating in some events, that also can be considered for calculating mapping to POs and PSOs for calculating the graduate attributes. So what are the challenges of 21st century? How to improve student engagement? Okay, again, when we implement OB, it's very important that we should have a student engagement. Student-centric methods we have to implement. Then how to equip students with the 21st century knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Again, you know, the 21st century skills as mentioned in NEP, like critical and creative thinking, problem-solving skills. So when we implement some of the activities or assessments, you have to definitely you have to incorporate these 21st century skills. How to allow continuous improvement in curricula, incorporation of better open educational resources, more effective teaching. How to ensure examination system reinforces teaching and learning. How to ensure lifelong learning. How to teach a large class. These are many definitely challenges of 21st century education, because you know the attention span of the students is coming down after the COVID. So especially when you go for online teaching, you have to implement some innovative strategies there. So what does OB aim to address? What do we want the students to know or understand or be able to do? The skill sets, that is very important. So when we implement OB, the employability of the students will improve. The employability will improve only when the students are skilled, and not only the basic skills, but those skills which cannot be replaced by robots or AI. Okay. So for that purpose, definitely we have to bring the students to desired level or higher order thinking skills like that. Then how can we best help students to achieve it? So as a guide, definitely we should be a guide, every faculty. And how will we know whether the students have achieved it? Assessment and evaluation. These are all very important, especially when we calculate attainment level. If you have proper assessment methods, then only we will get the accurate results. Otherwise, the attainment level calculation may be a false. How do we close the loop for further improvement? Continuous quality improvement. That is also very important. Now, I will show you a tool. This is my number and mail ID. I will share it tomorrow. I will definitely present a tool so that you can understand the calculation in a better way. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I hope this screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The screen is visible now.
This is a tool which is used for calculating the attainment level. Not only for calculating attainment level, all the activities of OB we can perform here. like this is login for the faculty, the course in charge. Suppose we are teaching a particular course, maybe this course, the name of this course is Academic and Professional English. Only for an example, I will just explain how we can calculate the attainment. See, we can upload the course outcomes. Don't look at the course outcomes. There may be some mistake in the course outcomes, some verb or something like that. So only for an example, I'm considering these course outcomes. Now, we have to fix a target for each course outcome. Okay, that is also very important. You have to have a target for each and every course outcome. You can fix that target also. And when we implement OB in the initial year, it's better you can have a comparatively less target, like 50% is enough for a course outcome. Okay. So once if you upload the course outcomes and the targets, now the next process is the mapping. You can see each and every course outcome is mapped to different PSOs here. You can map, this is a 4-point scale, as I mentioned earlier, 0, 1, 2, 3. So you can map each and every course outcome with the different PSOs. The same way we can map each and every course outcomes with the POs. So if you're using a tool, these are the initial activities you have to do. And it's only a one-time activity. Mapping and everything, once if you complete, then you can check the summary, like how it is distributed. So already we have mapped each and every CO with the different POs. You can see communicative competence is another PO2. We have 2 course outcomes mapped to this particular PO. Whereas for domain knowledge, there are more COs mapped. So in that case, if you find that only 1 or 2 COs are mapped to a particular PO, you can have more activities or more courses so that a proper mapping can be done. Similarly, we can have a summary of the CO, PSO mapping. Okay. Then when we conduct each and every assessments, you can upload that particular activity to the tool. Like suppose if you are having an assignment, then you can have the rubrics for this assignment. You can have rubrics or criteria for evaluation. You can have introduction, you can have content, understanding some basic concepts like that. So we can have a rubrics, and each and every rubrics you can map to different taxonomy levels. And the marks are given. This is a particular assignment which consists of 5 marks. So for each criteria, we have assigned marks. Then this rubrics again, you can map to different COs. These are COs with a strength, mapping strength. Here you can see 2, 3, 1, etc. These are mapping strengths. And if there are no rubrics, then there will be one row, the assignment itself. You can map to a particular taxonomy level and 2 COs. So there will be one row in that case. Similarly, if you conduct a group discussion or another assignment or a seminar, etc. So whatever activity or assessment you conduct in the section, in the class, that point of time you can just add this value to the tool, the criteria or the rubrics, and each of these criteria or rubrics can be mapped to different taxonomy levels and different COs. Okay, and here comes the examinations. Suppose if you have the internal examinations, like there's a question, what is EST? Then question number 2. Each and every question you can map to different taxonomy levels, and the marks are also there. Then every question can be mapped to COs also with the respective mapping strengths. So if you have a question bank, it's an automation question bank or automated question bank, then you can bring those data from the question bank so that no need of re-entry again in this particular tool. Okay. Similarly, for external exam, internal exam, you can see all these questions are already mapped to different taxonomy levels and COs. So once if the mapping process, whenever you conduct any internal exam, that point of time, just you can give the, you can add this particular assessment and you can map it. Then just upload the marks for each activity. Whenever you conduct the assessment, you can upload the mark and you will get the attainment. Very easy. Only you upload the mark, you will get the attainment calculation like this. See, for example, for each student, you can see the first column, CO1 attainment of each student out of 3. Class average is given. CO2 attainment is given. Average, class average, like that. For every COs, you can see the calculations for the entire class. Okay, there are 40 students. For the entire class, the CO course outcomes are there. And again, you can have some other reports. So all these reports you will get with the help of a tool, because manually it's very composite task. It's very difficult for calculating the attainment. Here you can see a report like we have fixed the target as 60% or 50% like this. Already we have fixed the target for each course outcome. The class average is given here. Standard deviation is also given here. Percentage attainment. See, for example, the target for CO1 was fixed at 60%. The number of the percentage student, 90% of the students have achieved that target. Okay. For CO2 also, 90% of the students have achieved that target. But for CO3, in this case, only 17.50% of the students have achieved that 60% target. You can see more red color. Okay. So that means for CO3, we want to revisit again, or we can give one more activity or assessment for meeting that target, so that we can bring every student to the desired level. Or in other words, we can call it assurance of learning. So that we are giving an assurance for every student who is joining our institute, so that they will achieve a particular target of the outcome. Okay, that is assurance of learning. So we can have one more activity and we can check whether every student is achieving the target. So this type of analytical reports are available if you use a particular tool. Then the HOD login, there are many other reports available, like we have a progression report. I will show you. This is a progression report. The blue line represents the batch progression, semester-wise, how the batch is progressing semester-wise. And the yellow line represents this particular student's performance. It's a particular student, Abhishek Kumar. So how he is performing semester-wise. This is the taxonomy level performance in each semester. Remember level taxonomy, how he is performing. Second semester, sorry, the second taxonomy, understand level, how the student is performing in each semester. And you can see a comparison with the batch. Similarly for POs and PSOs. At the end of the program, we will get all these comparison charts, or semester-wise we will get the comparison chart. And this is very useful for PTA meetings. We can convince the parents how the student is performing compared to the batch. Then we can have many other reports, like this is a report of a student, a particular student in the second semester. Okay. Compared to the first semester, you can see only one downward trend here. These are our upward trends. Okay. Now coming to the third semester, you can see more downward trend for this particular student. So we can have the semester-wise comparison. That means something happened in the third semester for this particular student. Maybe it's personal problem, or maybe problem with family problems, maybe with a particular faculty, or for some subjects you may not be performing well. So in that case, such cases can be identified and we can have an outlier report. So if you are using a tool like this, you'll get an outlier reports where it consists of those students whose performance, varies or changes drastically in a particular semester or something like that. Okay, this is an example of some analytics report, and we can have slow learners report, we can have advanced learners report, all types of these reports which will be useful for accreditation purpose. All these type of reports are available. So this is a tool we have developed and we are using it in many institutions. It's an example of a tool. Okay. Similarly, we can have, you may using many tools. Even some of the institutions, they are using some, using Excel, they are calculating the attainment. But the only problem, is like, if you want to calculate the accurate values, then the mapping or the activities which we are mapping with the outcomes, then the questions which we are mapping with the Bloom taxonomy levels or outcomes, all these are very important. So if we can properly do it, definitely the reports are more accurate. Okay. Again, we can have the reports like you can see the slow learners or outlier reports, batch average, everything. Okay. So this is an example of a tool. Then this is actually not a free tool. This there is some payment for that. If you're interested, you can contact later. Okay. Then coming to today's task. You can download today's task from the LMS. And this is again a prototype model where you can calculate the attainment level as an example. For this purpose, what you have to do is there are 6 course outcomes listed here. If you want, you can just give that course outcome here, CO1, CO2, etc. Otherwise, also there is no problem because CO1, CO2 is already listed there. Okay. Then the question numbers. Question number 1. Question number 1. You can map that particular question. You can have 10 questions or something like that. You can map question number 1 to CO1. The weightage, you can put it here. If it is 0, there's a blank space at the top. Put that blank space. Okay. Then if it is mapped to CO2 with a weightage 2, you can put 2 like this. And if there is no mapping, you can give that. Okay. If there are 6 course outcomes, you can put 6 course, you can list 6 course outcomes. Otherwise, 5. Okay. Then for question number 1, what is the maximum mark that you can put there? Suppose it is a 1 mark question, it will come like this. Similarly, for question number 2, no need of writing the question number there. Number is already there, no? So no need of writing the questions there. Similarly, you can map it with a CO1 or a CO2. Definitely each question will be mapped to any of the course outcomes. So you can do it like that, and you can give the maximum mark also. So this is what you have to do in the first sheet. Okay. You can choose 10 questions or 25 questions as you wish. from your question paper. Then you can map each and every question with the course outcomes. Okay. Then the second sheet, you can consider 10 students. You can consider 10 students. Roll number is already there, so no need of writing the name. Okay. So for question number 1, what is the mark for student number 1? Suppose he got 1 out of 1, put 1 out of 1 there. The second student, again, suppose 1 out of 1, you can put 1 out of 1. Similarly, for all the 10 students, you can enter the mark here, the second sheet. Then you can fix a target for course outcomes. Suppose if you are fixing 50% target for course outcome 1, then again 50% for course outcome 2, like that. Then number of students. Now suppose if you are considering 10 students, put number of students as 10. Okay. So 10 students are here. You give mark here for each of the questions. Then the target for course outcomes, number of students. That's enough. And in the third sheet, you will see the attainment calculation and everything. No need of entering anything here in the third sheet. If you want, you can put the course name and the semester. That's enough. So you'll get the attainment calculations in the third sheet. So once again, I will repeat. The first sheet, course outcomes are there, questions are there. No need of writing the course outcomes and the questions because the numbers are already there. The code for course outcomes is already there. But each and every question you have to map with CUs and you put them as a mark here. That's enough. Then mark entry you have to do for 10 students, you can do it. For each question, how much mark each student got. You can put it there. Then the target for each of the course outcomes and number of students. Just enter that. And that's enough. And the third sheet, you will get the calculation. Okay, this is only a prototype model for your understanding. Okay, for experiencing this particular attainment calculation. Then coming to the LMS. So we have day 6. Okay, this is the CO computation prototype model. It's already there. Just download it and you can do it. Okay, and in the Padlet, some of you have already posted your course outcomes, and this activity, I think this should be uploaded to the LMS only. You can just post your course outcomes there, and others you can comment on it. If you want to comment on it, you have to log into Padlet. And in the LMS, I think the first day there was a video tutorial for a Padlet. Yeah, there's a video tutorial for Padlet. So you can just go through that video tutorial and you can have your own account in Padlet. And this Padlet is very much useful, for teaching purpose. Maybe tomorrow I will give you some ideas about these tools. Padlet definitely will reduce our workload. And it's good for collaborative learning. See, here you can comment on the questions already posted by some other faculty members. So in order to comment on that particular questions, you need to log into the Padlet. Some of you have already logged in because the name is displayed there. Already logged in there. Then you can comment on the questions posted by others. Okay. Similarly for COs, you can comment on the COs. Okay. So that's about LMS. And tomorrow we will discuss about the different analytics which we can use for accreditation purpose. How OB is useful for accreditation purpose. We will discuss those things, and then we will have the valedictory function. Okay. How a single question is mapped to more than one COs. Yeah. For example, if you have designed the CO in such a way that from two modules, if you have one CO, then probably, or one module, if you are having two COs again, in that case, one question can be mapped to different COs. But it's a very rare case, not always.
If you have any questions from Mendus, please post them in the chat and we will read them out and answer them.
Platform is used for all these calculation and data interpretation. Actually, this platform is developed using Python language, so that data visualization is there. There any supporting data to give more weightage for continuous mode and less for final exam? Yeah. Actually, we are delivering these sessions based on the input from the Higher Education Council. The Kerala Higher Education Council, they have already published booklets on OB. And based on the inputs from the Higher Education Council, we are delivering the sessions. So definitely we can have a more weightage for continuous assessment. The logic I already explained. You know. So now everything is measured on examinations. So how can we reach this goal? Definitely, you know, most of the institutions, the ratio of continuous assessment and semester examinations is changing. I visited one private university 2 months before. There only 30% weightage for semester exam and 70% for continuous assessment, and they are planning to make it 20/80. That means 80% for continuous assessment. How do we calculate the weightage of an outcome? Can time taken for a topic or outcome be taken as a criteria for calculating the weightage? Yeah, actually, that is one way of calculating the weightage, time taken for a topic, but concept-wise, it is not correct. For the easiness of calculation, maybe even I think some softwares, they are using that method, but you can see, you know, the time taken and the outcome may not be matching in many cases. So we cannot fully depend on that. Yeah, you can simply mention the CO numbers and question numbers is already there. Okay, no need of writing the questions and COs again. Can you explain the process of identifying curriculum gap? Okay. The process involves, involving all the stakeholders, like the students, then the alumni, then the employers. Stakeholders means that includes parents also. And again, you can have the experts. And it is a long process. Definitely, in my college, in my department, what we are doing is we are interacting more with alumni. Because we started our MCA program in 2003. So we have many of our alumni working in top positions in many multinational companies. So we usually interact with alumni. We have alumni mentoring sessions for the students. Then alumni sections are there. And in between, we'll have a discussion with alumni while we design the syllabus. We update the syllabus every year. And in between, we have interactions with the alumni. And the alumni can contribute much more because, they're working in different companies, and we will get genuine feedback from the alumni. Based on that, we revise the curriculum. Free tools are not available as such, as per my knowledge, for calculations. Okay. So thank you again. I think tomorrow we'll have a section on, as I mentioned earlier, on accreditation, how OB can be used for accreditation purpose. One more question: an outcome can be application analysis based and will definitely take more time as it may be practical based development capstone projects. So is there a possibility of 4 questions to be not matching what is intended? How can we overcome this? Questions to be not matching is intended. What I understood is like for higher order thinking questions, yeah, definitely for the semester examinations, you cannot include create level questions. For even evaluate and analyze level questions, you can include. There won't be a problem. But for continuous assessment, as I mentioned earlier, you can have create level assessments. The book published by the Kerala Higher Education on OB. I think you can go to the website and you can contact directly. You'll get the book. Recently, they have revised the OB booklet and they have published it again. Okay. Okay, then thank you all. Sijan, if you want to announce something, just we can go.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir, for that very informative session. We will be having our last session tomorrow. Dr. Mendus itself will be taking that session as well, and we'll be having the validatory function. Please note that the feedback form will be available to you in the LMS from tomorrow. Please fill that up. The attendance, there is no specific attendance sheet as such, but you have to do all the tasks and activities in the LMS that will be counted towards your attendance. And also, please make sure that you do the workshop activity in the LMS. It is in the assessment phase now. It will be on in the assessment phase till the 17th, that is till tomorrow night. Okay, so those who have not done the submission, not submitted in the submission phase, it will be put back to the submission phase after the 17th for a few more days, and then again put back back to assessment phase. So don't worry about it. Please make sure you do it. Please make sure you complete your other lesson activities and also the MCQs which are there in the LMS. Please complete them because they are all counted towards, even when you are going to get your certificate, that is required that you complete all these activities and workshops in the LMS. There is no deadline as such for today's task because you have access of your LMS till the 25th of May. But make sure that you do it and complete it before that, so that in case you have to revisit any of them, you can actually do it. Thank you again. Thank you all for taking your time to attend today's session. If you have any questions related to the LMS, I will just post that support numbers here in the chat. Thank you again. Thank you all for attending this valuable session. We will see you tomorrow at the same time, 7 p.m. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your valuable